Hey everybody, we are back at the hurricane headquarters, and today we have our 10:30 a.m. tropical update for July 27th, 2020. And we have the same news right now. Invest 92L has a 90% chance of developing into a tropical depression. This news has stayed for the last 3 days, and has only slightly changed. And if anyone's wondering, their storm, which is currently in Mexico, is a depression. So now we're going to jump into our official 2-day graphical outlook. And as you can see here, tropical depression. Sorry about that. Invest 92L has a 80% chance of developing into a tropical depression or a tropical storm. It has 80% in the next 48 hours and a 90% in the next 5 days. So most likely, Invest 92L will develop either later today to tomorrow in Eastern Time. And over here, this is Hannah. It's a tropical depression, Hannah, and right now it's not exactly the biggest thing we're looking at now. It's going to continue to weaken. It's right now 25 miles per hour is the maximum sustained winds, and it's slowing down. It's already under tropical depression status in sustained winds. So most likely it will become a post-tropical cyclone or remnant in the next day or two. So now we're going to head over to Tropical Depression Hannah's track real quick. Oh, sorry, this is... Oh, sorry. And all they have now is the rainfall outlook, which is quite strange. But as you can see, we could still get up to 6 inches of rain in some areas. But we're also sticking to 2 to 4 inches. And only a few spots might get 6 inches in Mexico. And it's kind of strange. There's only one thing. Let's refresh the page real quick. I believe Tropical Depression Hannah will actually deplete in the next hour to 2 hours. We'll make another video later on that, and also on Invest 92L. Now we're going to look at our Wendy outlook, Wendy.com forecast for Invest 92L, and you can start to see that circulation around here. You could definitely start to see it, and we're going to see what kind of wind speeds we have in here. Over here we might get some strong winds of 35 miles per hour. And this is really close to being tropical depression status. We might actually get tropical depression status today. If this is measuring 35 miles per hour, and all we need is 38 miles per hour for it to be considered a tropical depression. So we're looking like 35 miles per hour over here, and over here we're kind of looking at in the 30s. So we're at least in the 30s. And now we're going to head over to 3 p.m. today. And over here, it looks like we have 32 miles per hour. Let's see if we can get any higher. So we're probably going to continue to get in the 30s. And it doesn't look like there's any more strengthening over here, but we're going to jump over to 10 p.m. tonight. And this is when it actually might develop. As you can see, right here, 34 miles per hour. Right here, 34. So we might be getting some stronger winds picking up over here. And I believe it's possible to get some developments around 10 p.m. tonight into the early morning hours of Tuesday. Let's jump into 3 a.m. tomorrow. And over here we see 35 mile per hour winds. We could probably see 36 somewhere around here. And if we jump over to 9 a.m., actually moved a lot, we could see still some 34 to possibly even 38 mile per hour winds. So this thing is not completely accurate. It's just a prediction of the wind speeds. So we might actually have development by now. We're going to jump to 7 p.m. Tuesday. And over here, we see 36 miles per hour, 37 miles per hour, and let's see if we can get 38. It's so close to tropical depression status. It's so close that it might actually just be considered tropical depression. We're going to jump over to 10 p.m. tomorrow. And 37, 36 miles per hour. And we're going to jump into Wednesday, 3 a.m. And still, this windy.com is not showing tropical depression status. Let's jump over even to 2 p.m. It actually starts to speed up, and by 2 p.m. Wednesday, it looks like we'll have tropical depression. Because these forecasts are really close. So close to tropical depression status. So I would expect we'd have a tropical depression by midday Wednesday. But we're going to jump over to 9 p.m. And still does not look like any 38. Then we're going to jump to Thursday, 10 a.m. And here is like, I would say almost a guarantee of tropical depression status winds. Yes, so windy.com says that it will be Thursday by the time we start to get 38 mile per hour winds. Let's jump over to here. So we are measuring 38 mile per hour winds. That's tropical depression status by Thursday, 10 a.m. Although this is a simulation and we can expect development earlier than that. These forecasts can change a lot over time. And let's take a look right here. And right now we have probably a max wind speed of 35 miles per hour is what I'd expect. So we're really close. We're only about 3 miles per hour away from tropical depression status. So I wouldn't exactly be surprised if it becomes a tropical depression later into today. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at our weather maps, our models here, spaghetti models, and as you can see, we have some agreement over here. It's going to move northwestward, and it's most likely going to make a turn towards the northeast, and this is the world model, I believe the European model. Let's take a look at the GFS model. The GFS model shows most of them heading up this way. And just to let everybody know, these lines only signify where the eye of the storm will be. So just say on this yellow line here, the eye could be here and it could still be affecting Delaware to North Carolina, Virginia area. So just if your area is not under a line, it does not mean you're not going to get the storm. It just shows where the eye can go. Here's our Canadian model. And you could see some quite powerful agreement over here, but there's not as many models, and all of them show it making a curve. One of them takes it into the Gulf and then crosses Florida, weakens a little bit, and then somehow strengthens over land a little bit, and goes right through Delaware, Maryland, New Jersey, and kind of ends up near the Long Island, Connecticut area. So that would be a kind of a dangerous track. And here's our model intensity guidance. And everybody, don't worry, this can change. These things change so often. They're constantly changing. And this is at 12Z. Let's go jump over to 6Z. And as you can see, this one brings one model up to Cat 2. And I wouldn't be surprised if we can get up to Cat 3, a major hurricane. We're kind of, even though this would break records, it would be the ninth earliest named storm if it does develop. It might not, but that's only if it does. And then we're going to take a look back at our old friend in Mexico right now. It's Hannah, Tribal Depression Hannah, and the current central pressure is 1004 NB. Maximum sustained winds of 25 miles per hour. That is below Tribal Depression status. And let's just take a look. This is all that's left. Not much left from the storm. And here is our forecast for, let's see, when was this from? 4 p.m. yesterday. This was from 4 p.m. yesterday. Today there is no cone because the storm is right here at 1 p.m. Monday. And it is most likely going to deplete quite rapidly now. It already started that mass depletion of strength. And there's not much to worry about if you live in Mexico now. Maybe some tropical downpours and possibly some stronger winds, but I wouldn't say too much to worry about. And then now we're going to go back to Invest 92L. And here's the current sea surface temperatures. They're quite warm, moving up here. Over here seems to be the Gulf Stream, so slightly warmer waters up here. If the storm does take this path, this could actually help it gain a little bit more strength as it comes up. Although I wouldn't expect too much strengthening winds over here. I think the main strengthening would be over mostly water. The islands wouldn't weaken it too much, but you could see possible weakening from the islands. And now we're going to jump into our Invest 92L forecast from the Hurricane HQ. And as you can see, this is our impacts area. This is like where we expect the storm to make its impacts. We can see it will probably end up somewhere down here, but it's most likely either going to go up the coast or a little bit on the edge of this line here. But this big high pressure mass here is preventing it from really entering. It's really pushing it to the side. So we could see some major impacts on the southeast, the northeast area, even Florida and the Bahamas. You're in for a quite strong storm. West Indies, I'm not too worried about because we'll probably only have tropical depression, maybe tropical storm by then. And if not, maybe even weaker. Puerto Rico, you should be alright. You could expect a slight storm, maybe possibly a tropical depression or storm. Same with Dominican Republic. Bahamas, you could be in for possibly a hurricane, Cat 1. Nothing too bad. Category 1 isn't that bad, but it's still something to prepare for, especially if you live near a coast, because storm surge is a big problem, and even 3 feet can destroy a lot of things. You can even lift up your car, which I found interesting. And Florida, we'll have to see, because Florida, I don't know if you're in that great of a risk, because it's mostly going to head out to sea-ish from Florida. But it's possible that it hits Florida. Some of the models were showing it hit Florida. And I think this entire area up to here is really the danger area. The storm would probably just head back this way and weaken in the cooler waters. So I wouldn't expect too much up there. So now we're going to take a look at the Central Pacific. This is Hurricane Douglas, which is weakening quite rapidly as it passed over the Hawaiian Islands. It's currently over Kauai and a A few other islands are still being impacted, but we'll see what's going on here. Here's our warnings cone. It mostly passed through Hawaii. There aren't any more hurricane warnings up there. Just some possible strong winds and rain could still affect, and it's supposed to weaken to a tropical storm by 2 a.m. tomorrow. So it's probably in between here and here. It will weaken, and it should continue to be a tropical storm until about 2 a.m. Thursday, where it will weaken to a depression and probably continue to weaken. Now we're going to take a look at our wind history. We can see some hurricane force winds over here, and the arrival times of winds isn't really necessary because there is not really anybody in this future area, but here's most likely if you're wondering, and here's our 5-day wind speed probabilities. So it's possible for tropical storm force winds over here, almost 100%. So now we're going to take a look at our spaghetti models. It's not going to do much, but it might help you understand where the storm is going. As you can see, these models take it out, and we really split up. There's not much agreement out here, but we know it's going to continue to head westward. And here's our GFS model. They actually kind of stick together, and it weakens rapidly. And the Canadian model, same as yesterday, is actually taking it more north. It has a lot of agreement. It's going to go north in the Canadian model, and even shows some strengthening around here. So that might be something to watch for possibly the U.S. coast. You could get possibly, if anything, a tropical depression. But really, the main risk will be flooding and just tropical downpours and slightly heavier winds than your usual rainstorm. And you can even see parts of Alaska over here. So this thing goes quite up, and it would be quite interesting if it starts to grow and regain strength up here. Of course, it wouldn't do much, only lower it by about 5 NB in pressure, but that would be something interesting to see happen with this storm. And here's our intensity guidance model. And as you can see, it's mostly going down. None of them show it rapidly growing up at all. Yesterday there was one model that showed it growing up, but these ones really just do a steady decline into tropical depression, tropical storm status. Alright, everybody, we will be right back. Hey everybody, we are back. Sorry about that. I just had to fix something with the video, but we are back, and we're going to take another look at our Hurricane HQ forecast, and then I'm going to start to wrap this video up. I don't want to make it too long. I just wanted to update everyone on the current news on Invest 92L, and here's our impact area. Most likely going to impact this entire area in the cone, possibly the Gulf, because some models actually show it entering the Gulf and going through Florida. And then most of them show it heading up the East Coast. And possibly we could hit Canada with some sort of tropical storm, kind of like Dorian did. It hit as a Category 1 hurricane, and they were not exactly ready for that. Canada never really gets hurricanes or even tropical storms, so it's kind of rare to see that kind of storm. And I believe I'm going to make this video quite short. So I'm going to end this video here. But thanks everybody for watching this video. And I'll update you when the storm develops later today. And I'll probably get another video in by 7 p.m. today. So make sure you stick around for that. And yeah. Make sure you subscribe and ring the notification bell so you never miss another video from our channel again. And see you in the next one.